And we continue to keep our focus on the big development that has happened in the last few minutes. Yes, Shivam Mishra is set to be released. That is exactly what happened in court, where he argued for himself. The court has directed him to cooperate with the police investigation, however, releasing him and releasing the demand of judicial remand by the cops. The court also raised questions over the police's investigation in the courtroom, and Shivam Mishra is to be released on a personal bond of 20,000 rupees. In fact, Shivam Mishra's lawyer, who said that the police were working under pressure from the government. Police had wrongly arrested Shivam Mishra. Remember, this statement coming despite the fact that the CCTV footage puts out the entire details of what had happened. Shivam Mishra was caught on camera. He was the man who was on the wheel of that Lamborghini, due to which 6 people were injured. His family lied. His father tried to say that there was a driver along with Shivam Mishra, but that too was denied, given how it was on camera that there was no one in the car except for Shivam Mishra. And now in the latest, Shivam Mishra, who's been allowed to go scot-free by the court at the moment, as the request for judicial remand was rejected by the court. Several lapses that have come up in this case, of how Shivam Mishra was never named in the first FIR that was filed, of most importantly how the medical test that was to be performed in the first 24 hours did not happen. And those are the first pictures of Shivam Mishra, who is now leaving from the court premises. There you see those first pictures on India Today, coming in from Kanpur, as Shivam Mishra is now leaving from the court premises. He argued the case himself in the court. In fact, right after that incident had happened, he fled from Kanpur. He went to Delhi. His family moved him to Delhi on quote-unquote medical grounds. Given all the pressure, he was finally arrested by the cops. But that remained only for a short while, as the court has now released Shivam Mishra, asking him to cooperate with the investigating team. Given the fact that Shivam Mishra has lied, his family has lied, they have evaded the law, but that is the instruction that has come in from the court: cooperate with the investigative team. Let me cut across to my colleague Simar, who has been tracking every single development. Simar, this is extremely disappointing, and all those who are complicit in botching up this investigation must be held accountable. The very fact that it is not a watertight case, the very fact that the court had to let Shivam Mishra go because there were serious lapses in the case, and who is to be held accountable?
Well, yes, indeed, we have seen that some serious lapses were made from the side of the police investigation from the day one. That's why the local SHO was in fact attached to the police line. It was suspended by the Kanpur police commissioner. Kanpur police swung into action from the day two, but I think that was too late. Example of what we saw in the court today. Police presented the application. They asked for 15-day judicial remand. The court categorically said that in this case we cannot give judicial remand since the evidence does not pile up, so that which doesn't make the case of the arrest in this very particular matter. Police, however, maintained that he has been very evasive, non-cooperative in the investigation, and he did not even receive the notice in this particular matter. That's why police have the power to arrest him, even if the punishment for this crime is less than 7 years, in which technically police can't arrest. But police, in fact, arrested him, presented him in front of the court. The court, in fact, raised some serious questions on the police investigation. Although they have directed Shivam Mishra to cooperate in the police investigation, to in fact turn up as soon whenever called by the police. That has been the development as now. But he has been let go from the premises of court. There is no further arrest or custody for Shivam Mishra. The personal bond of 20,000 is what the court has ordered him to pay, which has been paid. The formalities have been done, after which he has been allowed to let go. So that is the case. People were expecting that. First, we saw that there was no name in the FIR. After the rigorous campaign on the national media of India Today, the name was added. After which we saw that there were some lapses in investigation. A dummy, in fact, driver was placed in the court. An affidavit was also filed. That has been the case. But now what we are seeing is that court has finally let Shivam Mishra go in this very particular matter. Now the police says that we'll charge sheet him, we'll frame the charges against him, and we'll try to, in fact, concrete our case up. But the fact of the matter is, as of now, the initial action is concerned. The police is facing a serious backlash in this very particular matter, and Shivam Mishra, after all the ruckus, after all the action which has been going on since 3 days, he has been let go by the court.
And this is a clear case of how he's flexed his money and muscle power. And this is what it has resulted in. The man walking out scot-free from the court on a personal bond of 20,000 rupees. As far as the police is concerned, they may press charges, but how will they back it with evidence? The medical test that was to be performed in the first 24 hours, the alcohol test, was not done on him. He was not named in the first FIR. He was allowed to move to Delhi. His family moved him. And finally, after all the pressure that the cops had to face, is when they arrested him from Delhi. Is there going to be an investigation into how botched up this entire case was?
Well, the responsibility of the local SHO was fixed, and after that he was transferred. But the senior police officials who have been on the front of this investigation, who have been giving statements, now there has to be a deep introspection which has to be done in this very particular matter. That remains to be seen on the part of the higher officials, from the administration, that whether an inquiry is being initiated or not. But the fact is, first, the name was added very late, and after that, what the serious point was is that no medical of Shivam Mishra was done. Technically, as per the rule book, within 24 hours, the medical of the accused should be done to make sure that whether if he is under the influence of alcohol, that should come into the police report and which should be submitted in the court. But even after 72 hours, we have seen that Shivam Mishra's medical was not done. It was only after his arrest, that is today in the morning, he was taken to a nearby hospital, government hospital, where his medical checkup was done and the report was submitted to the court. But the fact is that the Kanpur police, who claims that they formed several teams, several raids were conducted, 5 teams, what we have been told, is that carry out searches. But it was only after 4 days, after rigorous campaign on the social media, the pressure on the Kanpur police, he was arrested today from Kanpur itself and produced in the court. But then too, even after the lot of efforts which have been made by Kanpur police in the past 2 days, it seems that the initial lack of proper investigation became the reason for Shivam Mishra's relief in this very particular matter. So that has been the case. He has been allowed to let go. The police now claims that they will charge sheet him, still charge sheet him. The trial will go on, but he'll not be behind bars. In fact, he was in the custody of police for few hours, and after that he has been allowed to let go. So serious questions are being raised on the lapses, on the willpower, and on the proper investigation that should have been done. But it seems that it's not the case when the finally court hearing has ended.
Oh yes, this is indeed shameful, because let's not forget that Shivam Mishra's face was clearly captured in the CCTV footage. That puts out the truth of how he was the one driving that Lamborghini, of how his family lied that there was a driver in the car, but that too, there was the presence of no other person in that car. And that is allegedly not strong enough evidence, because even now, Shivam Mishra's lawyer, who goes on to say that the police was working under pressure from the government and the police had wrongly arrested Shivam Mishra. Listen into that statement.
माननीय न्यायालय ने कई प्रश्न पूछे, आईओ नहीं बता सका, सरकारी वकील भी अपना कोई पक्ष प्रस्तुत नहीं कर सका, तो माननीय न्यायालय ने अपने पूरे विवेक का इस्तेमाल करते हुए माननीय सर्वोच्च न्यायालय की गाइडलाइन और बीएनएसएस के प्रावधानों को दृष्टिगत रखते हुए ये आदेश पारित किया है, रिमांड रिफ्यूज किया है। इससे उत्तर प्रदेश में कानून का राज स्थापित होगा।
ये माना जाए कि शिवम मिश्रा की रिहाई हो जाएगी?
बिल्कुल, अभी हो रही है। 20,000 रुपए की अंडरटेकिंग और 20,000 रुपए के पीबी पे वो रिहा हुआ है।
20,000 रुपए के पीबी पे शिवम मिश्रा की रिमांड निरस्त कर दी माननीय न्यायालय ने। हम लोगों ने अपनी आर्गूमेंट, अपना पक्ष माननीय न्यायालय के समक्ष रखा और जिसे माननीय न्यायालय ने सुना और अपना उन्होंने जो जजमेंट था वो दिया, ऑर्डर था वो दिया।
And there you heard of the statements that came in right after Shivam Mishra was released by the court, remember, on a personal bond of 20,000 rupees. This has raised several questions, a clear case of travesty of justice, because this man, Shivam Mishra, His face was caught on CCTV footage. It was very clear that he was the one who was driving that car. There was nobody else in that car except for him. 6 people who were grievously injured. His bouncers who came and got him out of the car even misbehaved with the victim of the, with the kin of the victim. But all of that was a clear cover-up. Lapses in the case. His name was not there in the first FIR. There was no medical test that was performed in the first 24 hours. He was conveniently moved from Kanpur to Delhi by his family on quote-unquote medical grounds, and that was allowed. After all the pressure that the police faced is when he was finally arrested. But barring a few hours that he spent in custody, he was released by the court. The police had demanded judicial remand of Shivam custody to interrogate him, but that was rejected given the lack of evidences. Now the police saying that they will file a charge sheet. But what really happens? Because it is clear that this man who has flexed his money and muscle power found his way to evade the law. I want to go back to my colleague Simar Chawla, who's been tracking all the developments, really to understand, Simar, what next for Shivam Mishra and whether there will be further details to find out how the investigation was botched up, the lapses by the cops, them saying that they will file a charge sheet, but how will they build a watertight case? And any word coming in from the family, and of course we heard from the lawyer of Shivam Mishra.
Well, now finally, when the judicial remand has been in fact rejected by the court, the only option left with the Kanpur police is in fact is to go ahead with the trial in this very particular case. And with the due course of investigation, they have the power to summon Shivam Mishra in this very particular case. After which he will be called for questioning. His statements will be recorded, but that will be the part of the charge sheet. That means police cannot arrest him until and unless they add some of the other sections in this very particular case, which is very unlikely. We have been hearing that a dummy driver was produced, a false affidavit was in fact presented in the court. But then too, if the action happened, that will only be limited to the counsel and the driver Mohan, who in fact was the person who presented the false affidavit. It is very difficult for now Kanpur police to directly, target Shivam Mishra or to directly, register any of the other case or increase section in this very particular case. So now that remains to be seen on the part of the Kanpur police, who will in fact hold a meeting with their legal, voices, have a legal opinion in this very particular matter. And only after that, the Kanpur police is expected to in fact come and give out a statement in this very particular case. But if we talk about the legal proceedings, the trial will go on, and within that trial, framework, the police might, call Shivam Mishra for the questioning. But the fact of the matter is, he will be, away from the bars. He will not be arrested from now, and any other step taken by Kanpur police will be, considered as an extreme step by the court, which in fact stand very clearly that Kanpur police did not, did a very good job in their investigation. There were several lapses. So then too, we have to wait. But now finally, when the trial will go on, that, we have seen that it sometimes takes some, years. So we don't know exactly about it. But a main point in this very particular case is the complainant in this very particular matter, Tawfiq, on whose complaint the FIR was registered. He has also now backed from his complaint. Now he has clearly stated an affidavit saying that he do not want further action, any of further action in this very particular matter. He's satisfied with the kind of treatment and, the money which has been paid to him in the form of, legal help. That has been paid by the team, so he does not want any other further action in this very particular case. So that will be considered by the police in the investigation or not, that remains to be seen. But fact of the matter is, it's a big relief for Shivam Mishra in this very particular case, and a much needed introspection for Kanpur police.
Relief certainly for Shivam Mishra, but setting a very, very wrong precedent, Simar, of how anybody who has the power of money can just walk out, evade the law, and he will get a free run because he has had the ability to be able to buy off those who may not be as fortunate. And that is the sort of example, unfortunately, that a case of this nature does put forth, which is why several questions now certainly coming in, especially with regards to the cops, to what really had happened that led to a botched up investigation of who will be held accountable and how Shivam Mishra got an easy way out, Simar.
Well, indeed, messaging is very important in these kind of cases, especially when there is public sentiment and related to it. But the fact of the matter is that in this very particular case, the sections which were included in the FIR were not very serious enough. All had the in fact
Yeah,
punishment
but
of less
Mr.
than
Vikram
7.
Singh, former UP DGP, is with us on the phone line. Very good afternoon to you, sir. Your response to how Shivam Mishra has been allowed to go by the court?
Good afternoon. Well, nothing shocks and surprises us any longer. Show me the man and I'll show you the rules. Well, on the face of it, on paper, it is legally absolutely a bailable offence. Bail is a matter of right. But the police had a duty to perform. I would give you 2 or 3 sections which the police could have easily incorporated and should have, and the bail would have been impossible. Right? Tampering with the evidence. Tampering with the evidence because they tried to remove the number plates of the car in question in a Lamborghini. They also by not being willing, volunteering for the urine analysis test and the blood test, the breath analyzer test. To the contrary, he went to Delhi. Have you ever heard of a case where a person is rushed to Delhi and Kanpur has visited old established medical college, super specialty hospitals? In the face of all this, he should have been charged under the old 201 of the IPC and 238 of the Bharati Nyaya Sanhita, tampering with evidence, as also not cooperating with the investigation. There would have sufficient reasons that he could not only have not got bail, but also he could have got a police remand. Not getting a police remand also is a reflection on the shoddy investigation. Well, yes, the police can still get him in the police station and what is known in the police language as Shabil Taftish to be a part of the investigation, subject to 1 or 2 days of thorough interrogation, and the truth will come out, because where there is a will, there is a way. Here, unfortunately, neither there is the will nor the way, and you have a situation that the police and the investigators have eggs on their face.
Sir, but who is going to be held accountable for botching up this investigation? Because a development like this sets a very wrong precedent. This man who has the money and muscle power clearly has been able to get his way, despite the fact that he was caught on CCTV. It is evident to how he was the one who was on the wheel. He was the one who was driving the car. His family has been lying, and literally everybody out there to shield him. His lawyer has gone on to say that the police wrongly arrested him. How is this possibly to be believed given the fact that everything was caught on CCTV?
Absolutely, you're so right. You have hit the nail on the head. There's video evidence. There are eyewitnesses who say that Shivam was on the wheel. And to para-drop the other person, Mohan, that he was on the driver's seat, it is so nauseating to see a similarity between the Porsche Muna case, the Salman Khan case, and this case, where there are any number of volunteers to be on the driver's seat. For what? Anybody's goose is as good as mine. And you will understand that this is absolutely deplorable. This thing would not have happened had there been any indication that the police will come down like a ton of bricks if anybody were to try to tamper with the evidence and the truth. In this case, Mohan and those who are supporting Mohan also need to be booked as willing accessories and accomplices to this crime.
All right, so I want to thank you for your time on India Today. As I'd also like to say a very good afternoon to Ms. Kiran Bedi, who's been patiently holding that line. Ms. Bedi, your first reaction to what has happened in court, and what really would you say happened backdoors of how this investigation was botched up?
So has the reason for being bailed out is that police does not need it? As the court, honorable court saying that he's being bailed out, as the police says we need no more evidence and we don't need any more interrogation and we have no reasons to ask. Has that happened? Does the court order say that?
Ma'am, the fact that he's been allowed to go on a personal bond of 20,000 rupees and the instruction being given that he should cooperate with the cops when it has been very evident that there have been several lapses in this case. His name was not in the FIR. The medical test was not conducted. His family very conveniently moved him to Delhi. That is where he was arrested from. And he has evaded the law on multiple fronts. But he still gets to go.
Please know that it's a prosecutor who prosecutes the case. It's the prosecutor who is supposed to have asked for police custody. Based on that, the court should have asked him, do you need it? As these questions come from the court, asking the prosecutor, does the police need it? Yes or no? Does the police need more evidence from him? You want to interrogate him? Yes or no? And then how many days? and give reasons. Did this happen in the court? And the police the court needed to could have given reasons that the prosecutor has not asked for, says, we don't need it. Did the prosecutor say, my lord, we don't need it? Has that been happening? What are the proceedings of the court? It's very important.
Ma'am, it is to the best of your understanding who's been an integral part of the system while we are still gathering details of what really transpired in court. The ultimate result at this moment is extremely disappointing, because for all of us who've seen that CCTV footage, who've seen the fact that Shivam Mishra was the one driving that car, who've seen that how his father tried to say that there was another driver in that car, but that was completely rejected because the CCTV footage put that out too. And while the family has been lying, Shivam Mishra has been lying, there have been several that was not granted to the cops.
As I said, the critical thing is what grounds the court has allowed him bail. Has the court said that the police and the prosecutors not asked for him? Has the court said that? If the court has said it, then the police has to be answerable as to why did you not need him? Did you not have many questions to ask him? Did you not have clarifications to ask him? Did you not think, who pulled you out of the car? Who pulled you out of the car? And why did you go to Delhi for medical? Why did you not stay back? Who do you remember having seen immediately when you got out of the car? I think all these questions needed to have been asked. Did the police say to the court, sir, we need these answers, we don't have them, therefore we need his police custody, and we need it maybe for 2 days, maybe we need it for 3 days? Did they say that? If they said it, and over above, the court said, no, I don't think you need it, that's a different story. Then it's appealable. Then the court, the UP police can go on appeal to the next higher court and saying, we have been denied opportunity to talk to the accused, and that is weakening our evidence, weakening our investigation, and it's hurting our investigation. But if they're not even said it, I think the prosecutor needs to explain, and the police needs to explain. And the courts will say, well, nobody asked me. I have no idea. And of course, on the other side, you have a battery of very good lawyers. And on the other hand, you have a prosecutor who's probably not adequately supported enough.
Oh yes, absolutely. And we are certainly trying to dive deeper into what transpired in the court, and most importantly, who all are accountable when it comes to botching up this investigation. I want to thank you for your time and speaking to India Today this afternoon.